Okay, now tell me, we have been discussing about AppFee, right? But what did you understand from AppFee? What is AppFee? Don't tell me that it's a virtualization. Okay, this is an application virtualization. Here in this technology, the application will not be physically installed. Application will be installed in the virtual location, and this location is completely isolated that no one can say it, and even you cannot access them directly as it is not physically installed. See, MSI and EXE, whatever we are talking about, those all installs physically. If you go to the C program files, there you can see the files and folders are there. But the case with an app fee, it's not the case. You cannot, whenever you install an app fee package for the VLC, let's assume it. If you go and look at the folder C program files, there you don't find anything for that. Why? Because this is an app fee that's not going to install there. That maintains a virtual environment. Everything will be present in that. Okay, let me show you that. What is the importance of application virtualization? We already have an MSI package. Why we are going for this? Because it has a lot of other advantages over the MSI. MSI is something, it's a physically installing it. There are a lot of challenges you would be seeing when there are multiple applications and multiple packages are installed on the same machine. Of course, you are able to overcome some of them, like as we discussed, when you install with the setup.exe, you might be seeing DLL conflict or file conflict or the version conflict or the application conflict. Just to overcome them, we were using an MSI packaging. In MSI packaging, we are making it share and permanent components. There's a one concept. So using that, we were able to recover that conflict, DLL conflict. If multiple applications are sharing a single file, that we can overcome it. But some of the other workarounds we have in MSI package, but still it's not completely giving you the 100% advantages. Still, you will be finding some of the other way, some kind of conflicts. Okay, tell me one thing: is it possible for us installing two different versions of the same application on the same machine? Two different versions of the same application. How do you install it? Can I try that? No, 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 not using AppI. I'm just asking you. We are not yet started AppI. I just want to give you a figure. I mean, why this application utilization is. What are the disadvantages you have when you go with the MSA? Let's say if I'm installing this free plane, let's assume it's an MSA or EXE, whatever. C program files and free plane is a folder. It's getting installed to this. Now, if I run the same thing, it's a different version of the same free plane. Now again it is installing to the same location, right? Then tell me now, is it possible that can I see older version and newer version on the same machine? Is it really possible for me? Well, the older version installed to the same location, newer version is also installing to the same location. Definitely, the files which are having the higher version that gets overwritten in the folders as well, because two versions are sharing the same folder. That's really not possible to run side by side versions of the same applications. Only one can exist at a time. But this is not I'm expecting it. No, I just want to have two versions of the same application. Even you see you have the shortcut, it's installed on the desktop. It's the same name. Even if you install with the older version or you install with the newer version, the name will be same. The location of the shortcut is same. Then how do you expect there will be two shortcuts created, one for older and one for newer? Right. And even if you observe it, the properties, the shortcut itself is also pointing to the same location. So when there are multiple applications installed in a different versions, but all the versions will go into the same single folder. This is the case. It's not possible to achieve running different versions of the same application on the same machine. Okay. So, but do you really think do we really need two versions running on the same machine of the same application? Do you really think? In most of the scenarios, no. We really don't need two versions of the same app, but it is yes. Some of the applications it requires only this version. It's a very version specific. Have you seen most of the people do run MS Office of the two versions 2013, 2010 or 2000. Most of the people run two different versions of the MS Office. They want to have it on the machine. So in that kind of scenarios, we need to have some of the other workaround. That's called the API. Okay, and even when it comes to the licensing part, is also sometimes it's a matter. You might have bought one or two license for the latest version. You might be having 10 licenses for the older version. Okay, so in this scenario, I cannot give the newer version to all my team because it's having a limited license. So this is how something I can manage with an app. So let's see what is this isolation. What I'm talking. These all are the characteristics of Appy. This is what Appy means. The first point it says this is installing virtually. Appy will install virtually, which you cannot directly see it. Even your operating system cannot see it directly. Any of the other applications installed on your machine also cannot see it. Let me show you the diagram. Okay. You see this application A, application B, application C. The above there are three input box, right? Okay, these three boxes are talking about application virtualization. These three are API packages, and the below three applications are physically installed packages: ABC, XYZ, PQR. Okay, and the outer box, whatever you are seeing, this outer box, this is called operating system. Getting it? Okay. Excuse me. Okay, now you see this is called virtual bubble. Every API application we call it as a virtual bubble. Uh, did I discuss this to you? I think you are on mute, I believe. Did I discuss anything to you regarding the virtual bubble or system guard? Sorry, it was on mute, I think. I just realized it. Okay. So every API application basically installing to a virtual location. It's a virtual environment, right? That virtual environment we are calling it as virtual bubble or the system guard. Okay. How many virtual bubbles you have in this machine? How many can you see? I have three applications. Whatever you see this, it's a one virtual environment, two virtual environment, three virtual environment. So it means I have three virtual bubbles or three system guards in my machine. Virtual bubble is nothing but it's an virtual environment where your applications are getting installed. So every application will have its own virtual bubble. Okay, that we need to remember. And these virtual applications, these virtual bubbles can interact with your local operating system. The first point it says, the second one, your API packages can interact with your local operating system. Okay, and in the same way, your API application, the third point it says, application can interact with physically installed applications. Which is physically installed apps here? XYZ, ABC, PQ. These three are physically installed on your local operating system. It means app feed can look into your, it can interact with your local operating system as well as locally installed apps. Yes. Now, but the reverse is not possible. You see, the arrow mark is only app feed to the physical, app feed to physical, app feed to physical. But the arrow mark from physical to app feed is blocked. Why? Because physically installed application or your operating system cannot interact directly with your API application. That is restricted. That's where you're providing a security. None of the other application can directly interact with your API application. Getting it? Is any confusion? So first point, and the second point it says same API packages. Yes, yes, of course you can. Okay. Each and every API will have its own. Okay. So this is all it is, and this is from the API perspective, right? Let's say your local operating system. In fact, so the reverse is not possible. Okay, this is how the security is provided. But this is clear, right? The diagram what I am showing. This is what you need to remember going forward. Okay, now the second point it says is an isolation. Yes, of course. This is what we are discussing now. Your API is completely isolated. The first point it says API applications are isolated from OS and other API application. Why it is isolated? Because API packages, because local OS and local installed application cannot have access to the API packages. That's where your API packages are isolated from your OS and locally installed apps. Okay. And the third one it says streaming. There is another concept called streaming. Okay. Applications are, this is a client server architecture. You need to remember API is a client server architecture. So applications are installed on the server side. Packages. Okay. The streaming is called downloading, connecting to the server and downloading to the local. Whenever an application is installed on the server on the API side, API server, and what will happen is shortcuts published to the users. Okay, shortcuts are published to the users or the client machines from the API server. So now only the shortcuts are visible to the clients or users. Client, I mean the machine level. Basically, the publishing can happen to the user level or at the machine level. Okay, let's say it's a machine level. So whenever a user is logging into the machine, then he can see that API shortcuts are available for that application. Only the shortcuts will be available. Then upon launching the shortcut, Let's say it's a VLC shortcut. I'm launching the VLC AppV shortcut. It will connect to the AppV server and then start downloading from the server. Okay, this is called streaming. I am streaming from the server. Okay, got it? And let's say whenever a shortcut is connecting to the server, it doesn't mean it is going to download the entire application. Application is of 1 GB files. Okay, let's assume it has around 5 shortcuts. For the first shortcut, it might be with a 200 MB, right? Second shortcut again it's a 200 MB. This is what basically, let's assume this is the way it got split your application. So whenever I launch the first shortcut, it's just going to download only the 200 MB files. But what will happen to the rest of the application? That's not actually downloading it. As and when you launch the second shortcut, the relevant files will be downloaded. Okay, whenever it is required, this is going to download from the server. This is called on-demand install. When I am demanding the application, then it is becoming available for me. Unless I don't need it, I don't need to have that application is loaded on my client machine. Without using it, what is the purpose of loading on my machine? Okay, so this is called a streaming concept, downloading concept from the server to the client. You can see here, no. There is no self-healing concept here. This is entirely different story. Here, deleting the files, missing the files is not at all a possible thing. Okay, why? Because that is fully secure. No one can see it. None of the application can access it. So there is no possibility of files will be missing from here. If it is a physical install, that is a possibility. You might be directly going into the C program files. The moment you click on right click and delete, that will be deleted. Or if I uninstall, if I want to do it, I just click on uninstall.exe, that will be removed. Or update.exe, application will be updated. There is no security given to it. It's a physically, everyone can see that. I just have some knowledge on VLC. I know where the uninstall.exe, where the update.exe is there. I can do whatever I wanted. But when it comes to the AppV scenario, that application you cannot see it on the same location where you see your regular applications installed. So that's where they cannot definitely access your AppV, so that there is no possibility of messing up. You, you don't see anything writing over there. Even if you are somehow you are able to find out the location where it is installed, let's assume, but you can't do anything with it. That is fully secure. If you Even if you are with an administrator rights with the system context, not at all possible to do anything with that. It will not allow you to do anything. That's how it is fully secure. So the self-healing is not a point of thing in AppV. Let's say here the application 1, application 2, application 3. The streaming is concept, this is the one. For the 1 GB files, whenever I launch it, Let's assume it has only the one shortcut. When I launch it, that entire 1 GB will be downloaded. But after downloading it, do you really need client server connectivity? Do you think that 100% is downloaded? Do you still needs to connect to the server? Yes, exactly. This is nowhere required because everything is available on my local machine. Why the point of contacting the server? It's a one-time process. Sorry. And also, if you want, you can have it. You can have every time streaming. You don't want to see anything downloaded on your local machine. Even that option is also there. Whenever you launch the shortcut, that always connect to the server and fetch the files for the time being. It will be stored somewhere in your local cache, and the moment you close the application will be deleted, and nothing will be there on your local machine. This is called streaming again. Even there are two ways: one time download and offline, and the second one is always online. That's called streaming. Okay, let's see the second application. It says 90% is downloaded, and the application 3 says it's only nothing is downloaded because shortcuts are available, but the shortcuts are not yet launched so far. The streaming will happen when you launch the shortcut. You need to remember that. Okay, application will never stream it on its own. You have to trigger that. How you trigger it? Launching the shortcut. Okay, got it? That's called streaming. And the other characteristic, it says centrally managed. Why do you say it is centrally managed? You say everything is dependent on server, right? If something goes wrong, your server goes down, and let's assume the network connectivity goes down, then what will happen to these applications on the client machine? Of course, for the application one, there is no problem because it's already downloaded 100%. But when it comes to the application 2 and 3, that application will work? No. So it requires it. If your server is down, your applications are down. That's called it's a centrally managed. Let's assume the same application is actually getting downloaded. Application 1, there are some 1,000 clients. I have published it for the 1,000 clients. While at the first time when it is streaming from the server, at the very first time when I launch it, there is a connection break. The network is down. Then all the 1,000 clients will fail to work, right? None of the client will receive the application from the server. So all the 1,000 clients will experience the same kind of issue. That's a problem, right? It's a single point of failure. That's what we call it. Everything is completely relied on the server. If your server is down, everything is down. And even if you see, if I want to have the latest version is available for the application 1. Earlier I published it 5.0. Now I want to publish the 10.0. That I can directly do it only at the server end. I don't need to go to each and every client and upgrade it. I just do it. I can have one-time efforts on my server, upgrading it. Then all the 1,000 clients will going to receive the updated version. This is also centrally managed. Only on server I am doing it, getting reflected to the clients. This is called centrally managed and also a single point of failure. And ease of packaging and deploying. Of course, you can create packages so easily. You can deploy them so easily. Creating a package, I don't say. Some of the packages you might create it in just a half an hour or 1 hour, just like that. If it is a standalone and straightforward application. If it has a network dependency or any configuration or any drivers or kind of what you say any internet connectivity is required or any dependencies are required, if we have multiple shortcuts, some applications are not really so easy to convert it. Some applications are very simple that you can finish off in half an hour or 1 hour. Okay, that's called creating a package is easy, and the deployment part really there is no kind of deploying you are doing it. You are just simply publishing the shortcuts to the users. That's it. That's your job. You're not actually installing anything. Whereas in normal scenario, you have to have an SCCM is installed. With the SCCM, you will be deploying the packages to the clients. For that, you need to have a package created in SCCM. It's the first thing. And the second thing is you have to create a collection for which all clients you want to have this package to be installed. Okay, and I have to target it. I have to schedule it. I have to look into that whether it's getting installed or not. There are a lot many things I need to take care in normal deployment scenario, but in AppWay deployment there is nothing. Install it on the server, publish it to the clients. Your job is so simple. Okay. Then let's see. This is all we are discussing about the characteristics of AppWay. These are the features. But let's see why actually we need an AppWay. Okay. This is what we were discussing. Your traditional MSI install, the behavior is this way. Application A, application B, let's assume, and this is your local operating system. You see the orange line, it says read and write in in to and fro. Towards your application, read and write will happen. Towards your OS also, read and write will happen. You see, in purple also the same thing, because these two apps are normal physical installed apps, MSI apps. But whereas if you come down to this AppWay, read and write you see this way, both the ways, but only the read you see to your AppWay. That's called configuration. It's a major changes. Okay. So this is not possible. If you want to do any changes to the registries or any configuration or any DLLs in your AppWay application, this is not possible. Okay. And when it comes to the multiple AppWay packages, also the scenario is the same. This is your AppWay 1, this is an AppWay 2, and this AppWay, you don't even see any connectivity. These two cannot talk to each other. I think I might have forgot it telling to you. Local OS and local installed apps cannot have access to the AppWay packages. Here there is another thing is uh, even this is also there. Earlier we have seen it, no? You observed it. Physical installed apps can have interaction each other. to and fro this happens. But for the appy, I have not given drawn any line because application A doesn't know there is an application B, and application B doesn't know there is a C. So all are individual. Everything is isolated. Okay, even it doesn't mean appy packages can interact each other. No, that is no possibility. Every appy will have their own environment. Okay, that's what you see. Application A is an appy, application B is an appy, but these two also never interact each other. Okay, this is the other scenario, and now we have to see the advantages of it. What are the advantages you have with the appy? Why we are going for no physical install? This is what we were discussing. What is the advantage of no physical install? Application will never have any conflict, right? Yeah, of course. You can say that no errors. You see here, application A I have and application B I have. Application A is installing the same file. Application B is also installing the same file, which are going to the same location. In normal MSI scenario, that is called conflict. But here in appy, there is no issues at all. It has its own environment and B is having its own environment. Application A, B. Of course, still the same file exists. There is a duplicate. Same file in appy A, same file in appy B exists. But in MSI scenario, only you will have one instance of the same file. So in MSI, when you remove, sorry, not in MSI, in normal scenario, if you want to have two versions of the same file, is it possible? C program files, say let's say C Windows System 32 abc.dll. I want to have two versions of the same DLL, 4.0, 5.0. That's not possible in normal scenario, physical install. And also you see, this is installed to the different location. So that's where you see, this is secured. As I said, none of the application can interact. No one can say it. That's where you are able to provide the security. Why? Because if you see, where is it? You see, in your normal MSI or normal EXE scenario, where it is installing, This is installing under C program files Adobe location, right? This is a physical install. But when you look at here AppWay, this is installing to the different location. C program data, AppWay, package ID, version ID. This is called virtual install. Okay. So nobody knows this location. Where is it installing? You see, here I am talking about package ID and version ID. You remember that I have shown you this. Every package will have their own package ID, version ID. This is unique from package to package. Okay. So even if I know at least applications, all API will be installed under this location. See program data API. But even I need to know what is the package ID and version ID if I want to look at it. Same file it means? You mean two applications, same file? This entirely package ID is different. You say VLC is installing abc.dll and Notepad is installing the same DLL. But for the VLC, this package ID version is different. And for the Notepad, this is different. So there is no possibility of it. Still, you can have two instances of the same file on the same machine. Got it? And also the other thing is you cannot delete it anything. Okay. In MSI you can delete in your MSI or sorry. In physical install you can delete anything, but in virtual you cannot delete anything. Okay, that's completely secure. There is no possibility accidentally you delete something. That's the advantages of physical install. I mean, when you don't install it physically, no physical install. And the second point is application retirement. What is the retirement? Uninstalling your application. In Appy, you don't need to uninstall anything. Okay. What is actually doing when you are uninstalling in Appy? What you are doing? You are not installing anything on the client. You are installing on the server and publishing the shortcuts, right? Then, if you want to uninstall from the client, you just need to unpublish the shortcut. Okay, that's more than enough. Of course, here you have the installation as well, but let's assume if I want to, let's say if an application is installed, how do I say? When I see the shortcuts, I can say it is installed, right? Otherwise, there is no possibility to see because it's not directly installing on a C program files where I can go and look in and say, okay, this is there. Right, so directly I cannot say it unless I see the shortcuts. So the only entry point here is the shortcuts. If you have the shortcut, it means your appy package is installed. Okay, and in the same way, if you want to remove it, how to do it? First, you have to unpublish it. What will happen? Unpublish the shortcut means, right? So when the shortcuts are not available on the machine, it means that application is not available. Of course, still application is there. Application is available in program data, API, package ID, version ID in that location. Because I have not uninstalled it, I have just unpublished it. But tell me, does it really going to harm anything? Having that package installed on the machine without it having a shortcut? Okay, this is not possible at all, right? Give me a second. I'm getting a call. Sorry for the long hold. I had to attend the call. It's from my office. Okay. So now you got it right. When I say remove of your API package, it means unpublishing the shortcut. When the shortcuts are not available in your machine, how do you access the API? Can you access with any of the other application shortcut, or your at least your local operating system can interact directly? Is that possible? You always need to remember this point. If there is no API shortcut, even if your API is installed physically, there is nothing, right? Application is there, but that cannot interact. Even you cannot interact, or your OS cannot interact. So there is no use, right? Okay. So this is all it will happen. Take a lot of time. I mean, for even when you see it is an uninstall, let's say like if I unpublish it, the shortcut will not be available, but still the application exists. Even if it is exists, there is no use. Okay. So this is, let's say I have an API shortcut available here. So this is all about, let's say it's a shortcuts. I have this is physically installed. Even let's say if I delete the shortcut, but still application is there. The client is so clever. Let's assume we all know that how to create a shortcut for it. What I do, I just go to the C program files and where is that free plane? What I do, I just go and create a shortcut one more time. Shortcut is created. Actually, I was wantedly deleted the shortcut from the users. But the client he thought of the shortcut is not available. He himself is making that application available for him. Because he knows the location, he directly goes in and create a shortcut for it. But whereas in Appit, that scenario cannot happen. The shortcut is not available. The client has to reach us. I don't see that an application is installed. Can you do something for it? Okay, this is the advantage of it. So the retirement process is nothing but uninstalling an app. Uninstalling an app is so easy here. You don't need to bother about cleaning up. You always focus on cleanup, right? In your normal MSS scenario, you might be writing a custom action to delete the files and folders which are not removed properly. But here in Appy, even the files are not removed, not cleaned up, still you don't need to bother because that exists in virtual environment. None of the application can interact with that, so there won't be any conflict. Still you can leave that application installed on the machine, but you just don't publish the shortcut. That's enough. Okay, getting it. The use of retirement. So simple job of uninstall. And you see no more application conflict. Of course, this is what we discussed. The two DLLs are with the other versions. And the other one you see no registry and system bloat. It means unwanted files and registries are will not be installed in your local machine, which not going to disturb anything. Okay, in normal MSS scenario, whenever there is a registry key or file is captured, let's assume that's not relevant to your application. When something is not relevant in MSI package, that file or registry might give you some kind of other issues. Okay, but here in AppWheel that won't happen because it's not interacting with any of the other application to see that kind of conflict. Okay, and no registry and system load means, I mean, you don't need to take care about the cleaning up of all the unwanted registries and files which are there in your AppWheel package. Whatever is captured, you just go and work on it. Cleanup is not required. You see how much time you have wasted while cleaning up in MSI package. You have to go through each and every registry key. You have to go through each and every file and folder. Even sometimes you are confused. Okay, whether this file is required or not. Shall I keep it or shall I remove it? Will go something wrong? So you always come in your mind, right? That all the things. But here you just capture and do it whatever you want. Don't need to do any cleanup. So at least some of your efforts are reduced. To clean up in MSI package, you might be taking 15-20 minutes, or sometimes it's an half an hour if it is a large package. And also you are worried about what to remove and what to be keep. So that is not a kind of issue in app. Another one you can see multiple versions of the same application can exist. This is what the main advantage of it. You see here, this is your box. It's a OS box, operating system. Inside of it, I have two versions, 5.0, 10.0. But still I don't find any issues. That's the advantage. Okay, and the other one, it says multiple runtime environments can exist on the same machine. What does it mean is, you see here how many versions, how many uh, like you see dev, UAT, prod, three environments are there, right? In normal scenario you need to have three machines for installing these three softwares. You cannot install development and prod and UAT on the same machine. That's not possible in physical install. Okay, whereas in AppWheel you might need to have only one machine where you can install all the three environments on the same machine without any conflict. That is possible. So it's almost reducing your company cost around like you say two times. You if you need a three machine, you are using only one machine. 200% it's actually reducing your cost. Company to the cost is optimized. This is one example I am giving you. In real time scenario, you might be having thousands of application. Every application needs to have development environment, UAT environment, prod environment. Let's assume how it makes a difference, physical and virtual, right? This is all about the advantages of multiple environments. And the other one you'd say easy to handle application updates. Think we have to discuss advantages also. We have, this is one, and you have to discuss disadvantage. and limitations. Then just a discussion about evaluation. Okay, that's it. I think we'll better to continue in the next class. We have some of the other advantages as well to discuss. We'll try to have one more class. I mean, it's a today for me means it's tomorrow for you. Tomorrow morning. Let's try that. Okay. If possible, I do that. Till what time you are available today? I mean, in the midnight. It's already midnight for you, right? It's 11 p.m. Right. Till what time you are available?